So we're talking about trusting God. We're in the book of Proverbs, and Proverbs has it say trusting God. And here are some principles that I've gleaned from these Proverbs. Human beings are limited. That should be pretty obvious. We are very limited in our scope of what we know, of what we can know, and especially anything concerning the future. We are extremely limited. We are limited by, oh man, you can just start naming things and you'd be like, oh yeah, we are limited by that. I should start this timer. We are very limited, but God is not. And so there's a contrast there. It's foolish to trust in yourself. And so last week we looked at Proverbs that contrasted either trusting yourself, leaning on your own understanding, versus trusting in God's omniscience, his knowledge. It's wise to trust in God's providence, but it's also difficult. So since God knows what's in the future, he might have an understanding of what's coming that you can't know. And so when you run into an obstacle in life, our choice is, do I want to stick to my own plan, or do I want to submit to what's going on? And there's a choice there. Who do I love more? Do I love myself more, or do I love the Lord more? But it's difficult to trust in God's providence. Trust begins with the fear of the Lord. That's where we're definitely going to get into that today. And the fear of the Lord is an attitude that starts in the heart and works its way out into your actions, and it reveals your character. And so kind of like this, right? It starts as an attitude in the heart. In your heart, if you're poor in spirit, you've mourned over your sin, it's made you meek, and you've hungered and thirsted after a righteous, like all of that is internal. It's all spiritual. And when that hunger and thirst after righteousness is filled, then it starts to come out in your actions. And when people see those actions, it reveals your character to those people. And then they go, oh, they are children of God, kids of God. So we're going to jump way past all of these because we already talked about these last week. If you missed that, then it's on YouTube. Just type in Gerald Cronin, and it'll be the top video on there. But trusting God starts with the fear of the Lord. The fear of the Lord, and this is from Anders' commentary, the fear of the Lord stands at the focal point of the key verse of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 7, as well as the climax of the opening 9 chapters of the book in chapter 9, verse 10. The fear of God provides the foundation for gaining wisdom because reverence for God motivates us to heed his words. These crucial passages make clear that the wisdom from Proverbs is not merely a clever set of instructions for earthly success. It's not merely that. It rests on a commitment to trust and obey God. Fear of the Lord, where wisdom begins. So, 10:27. The fear of the Lord prolongeth days, but the years of the wicked shall be shortened. Again, fearing the Lord, using wisdom, the result usually is a longer life. Like, some sin just comes with the consequence of dying young. Some of it does. If you go, right, you just use any extreme example that comes to your mind. I'm going to go rob a bank and then shoot at the cops when they try and stop me. You're probably going to die, right? That's really dumb. You shouldn't have made that choice. All sin comes with a price, but not all sin comes with immediate death. All sin leads to death eventually, but not immediately all the time. But wisdom, generally speaking, does lead to a longer life, right? The fear of the Lord prolongeth days. This is a general principle. Again, Proverbs are not promises. Do not read the book of Proverbs and go, that's a promise for me to hang on to. it will destroy your faith. Because when the promise is not kept, because it's not a promise, it will destroy you. Like if you take this as a promise and you go, I will live long if I practice wisdom, and then you set your face to practice wisdom, and then you die in a car accident. It's random, no explanation. Or maybe it was, let's just say it was even worse than that. Let's make up a story where you die in a car accident and it was definitely a drunk driver that ran right into you. Now your children don't have a father or mother. Fill in the blank, however awful you want to make it sound. Yeah, just make it sound as bad as possible, right? If you take this as a promise, the people that you leave behind will be completely destroyed. Not a promise. It's a general principle about how the world usually works. If you practice wisdom, usually you'll live longer, right? The foolish, wicked person often dies young. And that's either through divine punishment or just natural consequences of sin. That's a general principle. Fearing the Lord is the starting point of wisdom and blessing. So we should treat God with awe and respect. Proverbs 14:2. He that walketh in his uprightness feareth the Lord. He that is perverse in his ways despiseth him. So again, fear of the Lord is an attitude of the heart that flows out into how you live. He walketh in his uprightness. The person that fears the Lord. Likewise, and that means moral integrity. You're not a hypocrite. You don't say that you're a righteous person and then, not do those righteous things. Right? You don't say you're a good person and then be devious. You have moral integrity. Likewise, on the other half of the verse, the devious person, the perverse, right? Perverse in his ways. Again, this is a lifestyle choice. Devious ways demonstrate a lack of the fear of the Lord, a lack of wisdom. The lifestyle is the evidence of where the person's heart is. It's data. It's not a conclusion. It's data, not a conclusion. I can't know where your heart actually is. You could be completely backslidden from the Lord. But do you still believe in the Lord? Like, do you still believe that he's the only way that you'll be saved out of, saved to heaven from hell? If you practice these things, that you'd be saved out of a lifestyle that would destroy you? Maybe that's deep down in there. I have no idea. I can't judge that. But there is data that points me in the direction that goes, I don't know if that's really real in your life. You may want to examine your relationship with the Lord. That's between you and him, though. It's not for me to judge. It's not for you to judge. That's between them and the Lord. But again, this flow, its attitude, actions, reveals character. Yes, sir. Yep. Same thing. I think it's data, not a conclusion. I mean, we can make conclusions based on whether we're going to trust them or not, right? It's like, okay, the fruit that I'm seeing on your tree is looking rotten. I don't know if I'm going to trust you with watching my children, right? Or I'm not going to trust you with this business venture because everything that I see looks bad. Or you did a good job trying to hide that, but I've discovered something that gives, you ever get that like guilt, not guilt gut, but like that, that intuition where you're like, something's not right here. I don't like this. You should listen to that, right? I think it's, I don't want to judge anyone's, I'm not the judge of someone's salvation. But I can definitely look at the fruit and be like, doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. Maybe you should examine your relationship with the Lord. Proverbs 14:26-27. In the fear of the Lord is strong confidence, and his children shall have a place of refuge. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life, to depart from the snares of death. So, in this one, The fear of the Lord provides protection and long life. Again, these are general principles. What Bible character can you think of that feared the Lord and it went horribly wrong for them? Job was another one. Joseph. Or it seemed like it went horribly wrong for them. Daniel. Right? Yeah. He feared the Lord like better than anybody in his nation at the time. And what does he get? Lion's den. Right? It's like that would seem to be like, that didn't prolong his days. It would seem. So, and when we get into talking about providence, I think hopefully this will come together a little bit. Yeah, in the fear of the Lord is strong confidence. Look at it. And his children shall have a place of refuge. So now we have a parent-child relationship being talked about. So in the fear of the Lord is strong confidence. That's like the parent having the fear of the Lord. They have strong confidence. And his children shall have a place of refuge. So the protection for the parent is refuge for the children. And the fear of the Lord turns people away from traps that are laid before them. Right? Fear of the Lord is a fountain of life to depart from the snares of death. It helps you, fear of the Lord, again, is the beginning of wisdom, and wisdom helps you avoid stupid decisions that result in dying young. The snares of death. It's a fountain of life. That's the opposite there. Proverbs 15:33. The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. This one is just so true all the time. Before honor is humility. Before honor is humility. Someone who's proud wants the honor without the humility. I deserve that. So, the fear of the Lord is a humble heart where it starts. How are you to receive wisdom from a source that's not your own heart unless you're humble enough to receive it? Listening to instruction assumes that you don't know something. So you have to start from there. There's a lot of things that I don't know. I need to learn those things. If you don't have a humble heart, if you think you know everything, then you're not going to receive that instruction. You're not going to be able to gain wisdom. Makes me want to jump over to James, but we won't, right? There are people who, because he says, if you lack wisdom, ask God. He'll give you liberally. He'll give you wisdom liberally. He's like, but you ask and you receive not. Because you ask amiss, right? To spend it on your own lusts. So if what you're asking the Lord for comes from a heart of, I know what I want, I know what I need. God, you're a vending machine, just give it to me. You know, I'll come to church, I'll sit in a pew, listen to the guy up there talk, and he'll do this. And then see, I've done the good thing, and now, God, you owe me good things. That's not how it works. That's not a humble heart. Fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. Listening to instruction assumes that you don't know something. So fear of the Lord is a humble submission in faith to the Lord. Then you receive the wisdom in humble submission. That leads to wise behavior and obedience, and that obedience leads to honor. Before honor is humility. Let this mind be in you, which also was in Christ Jesus. Being found in the full power of, now I'm paraphrasing, I'm not quoting directly, but being found in the fullness of God, put that aside, and came down to be a servant, a slave. And he died a rebellious slave's death, the death of a cross. He was completely humiliated. Then what? He was raised up from the dead and placed at the right hand of the Father, and all principalities and powers are under his feet. Honor. First, humility, then honor. Before honor is humility. Proverbs 19:23. Fear of the Lord tendeth to life. Like that. It tends towards life. And he that hath it shall abide satisfied. He shall not be visited with evil. How do you read that? As a promise? Because I just told you don't read it as a promise, right? Well, what do I know? Hey, I appreciate that humble, honor to you, sir. Honor. Okay, so breaking this down, fear of the Lord leads to a satisfying life. It's not just a length of life, but it tends towards a good quality of life. So what does this visited with evil mean? I have a Net Bible note. It says, quote, "To be visited by trouble or evil means that calamity will interfere with the course of life and change the direction or the destiny. Therefore, this is not referring to a minor trouble that one might briefly experience. A life in the Lord cannot be disrupted by such major catastrophes that would alter one's destiny." I think so. So there are calamities in life. I mean, utter calamities. I mean, just think of any natural disaster that's happened in the last 5-10 years or whatever, right? Can you think of one? Anybody got one just off the top of your head? Yeah, reactor in Japan, right? Not a natural disaster, but definitely a disaster, right?
Well, they had that earthquake in time.
And then, that's true, yeah. So, yeah, actually, right? That's a calamity. But is that something that can alter your spiritual destiny? No. What can touch your relationship with God? Nothing. Okay. So that's what this is getting at. The person who fears the Lord can't be visited with the kind of evil that will change their destiny. Right? Does that mean that God will not bring calamity on his people? No. And that's where I'm like, this is not a promise. Right? Job. just like insert Job here. What about some others? Right. So, so there are examples where and I bring these examples up to again point out this is not a promise, it's a proverb, right? This is these are general truths that help us make our way through the world. So, does this mean that the fear of the Lord is a kind of attitude that changes a person's understanding of what counts as a calamity? I'll repeat that. Does this mean that the fear of the Lord is the kind of attitude that changes a person's understanding of what counts as a calamity? It does. It completely changes your worldview. So can world events, whoever the president is, wars and rumors of wars, culture wars, loss of a loved one, severe injury or illness, change your ultimate destiny? Can any of those things change that? Romans 8:35-39. Who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Shall tribulation or distress or persecution or famine or nakedness or peril or sword? As is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. Nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. For I am persuaded that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of God, which is in Christ Jesus our Lord. Amen. It changes what you think a calamity is. This is the last one because the next section is after this. So, happy is the man that feareth always, right? But he that hardeneth his heart shall fall into mischief. So happy, again, blessed. And fears the Lord. Or it doesn't say fear the Lord, right? It just says feareth. So you can interpret that as fears the Lord or just cautious. You think before you leap, right? They're cautious when it comes to sin and its consequences. Someone with a hard heart is someone with a stubborn will. They're unyielding and unbending. This person will fall into sin, wickedness, and depravity. And I have a whole list of the Beatitudes of Proverbs, but we do not have time for that, and I don't have it on a slide. If you want that list, I can give it to you. But that was the first bell. The next part didn't even get into providence. Oh my! But we did talk about this, so I'm so excited to talk about providence. It's going to be really good. Let's pray and be dismissed. Our Father in heaven, thank you so much for your word. Thank you for your wisdom. Pray that you continue to give it to us. Lord, have our hearts be humbled and open to receive your wisdom, to receive your instruction. Lord, help us to worship you. Lord, may we sing praises to your name. May you be glorified as we go upstairs and worship together as a group. And Lord, I pray that you be with Pastor Perry as he brings your word. Lord, give him the power to preach. Lord, have our hearts be the soft and open soil to receive your word and produce good fruit, a righteous life. In Jesus' name, amen.